morning, our viewers. This is Taiwo's Academy, as usual, that is dedicated to educating our audience all over the world on subject areas like economics, political science, and government. This morning, we briefly want to educate our audience on what it means as individual demand and market demand. I repeat, individual demand and market demand. In economics, when we say individual demand, we are talking about the quantity of a product which an individual, I repeat, the quantity of a product which an individual consume at a particular price and at a given period of time. Individual demand is the quantity of a product which an individual consume at a given price and at a particular period of time. When you look at the board, we give illustration of two consumers, two individuals. We have John and we have Kelvin. John demand curve at the price of 15 naira for a pint of rice. John consumes 20 pints. I repeat, when the price of a pint of rice, when the pint of rice is 15 naira, John consumes 20 pints. For Kelvin, the same price of 15 naira, Kelvin consumes what? 10 pints of rice. You can see these are two different quantities purchased by two different consumers at a given price for the same product. Now, if you want to calculate the market demand, which is the second concept when we talk about individual demand, I said individual demand is the quantity of a product which a single consumer purchase, which a single consumer consume at a given price and at a given period of time. Those two are very important. At a given price and at a particular period of time. Without these two specifications, your definitions will not make sense. Individual demand is the quantity of a product, not different product, of a product which a consumer purchases or which a consumer consumes at a particular price and at a particular period of time. So we have given an illustration for these two consumers, John and Kelvin. For 15, the price of a pint of rice in this illustration is 15 naira. John is able to consume 20 pints. If you want to look at the total amount spent by John here, you can see 15 per pint, 15 naira per pint times 20 pints, and that will give you about 450 naira. But we are not doing the calculation here. But for Kelvin, for the same price, Kelvin only purchased how many pints? 10 pints. If you want to calculate the total amount spent by Kelvin here, you have 15 times 10 pints. That will give you 150 naira. But if you want to know the market demand is to sum up the quantity of the pints of rice consumed by the two consumers. I repeat, the market demand is to sum up the quantity of what? Pints of rice consumed by both consumers. Therefore, the market demand will be what? 20 pints consumed by John plus 10 pints consumed by Kelvin We have a total of what? 30 pence. We have a total of what? 30 pence. Then how are we going to derive the market demand? First and foremost, what do you even mean by market demand? Market demand is the sum, I repeat, market demand is the sum of the quantity demand of a product by different consumers at a given price and at a particular period of time. I repeat, market demand is the sum of the quantity of a product consumed by different consumers at a particular price and at a particular period of time. So if you want to derive the market demand for these two consumers, the consumers are what? John and Kelvin. If you want to derive the market demand, don't forget we've calculated the market demand, which is by summing up the quantity of the pint of rice consumed by the both individuals. 20 plus 10, that gives us 30 pints. So the market demand is 30 pints. How are we going to illustrate it on the what? On the curve or on the diagram for market demand? Here is what we have. This is the price. This is the common price for a pint of rice, and this is a what? Quantity. Then we have 10, 20, 30. That 10 is the what? The quantity. You have to start with the smaller one. Is the quantity consumed by what? Kelvin. Then you extend it to 30, which is derived by summing up the quantity demanded by the both consumers. We have 30 here. That 20 can be put there. It's just to follow the rules of numbering in graph. 10, 20, 30. Even though you are not going to make use of the 20, that 20 can be there to allow for proper ordering of the numbers. And if you like, you can just write 10 and 30, but it's better to put a number in between to ensure proper ordering of the number. So we have 10, 20, 30. The 10 is the what? Quantity consumed by Kelvin. 20 has none of them consume up to 20 pints. Yes, one of them consume up to 20 pints, but you are going to use 30 because of what? It is the market demand. You are not going to make use of 20 here. You are going to make use of what? 30. The last figure you are going to make use of is the what? The market demand of 30 pints. And that is why we illustrate it on top here to be what? The market demand. And that is how to draw the market demand. We are still going to come up with more examples, but this is the market demand for both consumers. And you can see the unshaded part represent the what? The total demand of Kelvin. Then the shaded part here represent the what? The demand for what? The second consumer, which is what? John. We make use of 30 because it is a market demand, total demand. You may be expecting us to draw on top of this 20. No. The rule is that what? Once you use the smaller figure, therefore the next figure you are going to use the what? The result of adding the both consumer purchases, which is 30. That is why we have to use 30 here. So the 30 is the what? Market demand. And that is the market demand we have here. More illustrations are coming. Thank you.